Right. Okay, checking everything. Hi, Stephanie. You're the first one in. Okay, so if I've got this right, I should be going live on YouTube, live on Facebook, and you can see this on my Facebook page and on the event page as well, which I've put links down there too. Okay, that's good. And I think I should now be going live on Instagram. So in the other room, I've got my lovely Dearheart checking these things for me. Oh my goodness me. I'm going to have such a headache this afternoon after all this technology. Ugh. So, is Instagram working in there?
It's working on my phone. I can't find it on the...
Okay, it's working on the phone? Okay. Right. I think I've got everything sorted. The wonders of technology. Right, the wonders of technology. Okay, so I can get rid of that one. So at the moment here, yeah, okay, right. Breathe. Right, first of all, I'm going to acknowledge in the spirit of reconciliation, I acknowledge the traditional custodians of country throughout Australia and their connections to land, sea and community, and the Kaurna people who are on the land from which I'm broadcasting from. That's terrible English. I pay my respect to the elders past and present and extend that respect to all Aboriginal Torres Strait Islanders. I got here! I made it! Yay! Oh, phew. So welcome everyone, and I don't know where you are, but here in Adelaide it's time for Elevensies, so got my tea. I thought about it, I could have had scones or something. Okay, so welcome, and another ebook launch live using technology. I've actually dubbed, oh, excuse me, I'm losing my voice too. I've dubbed 2023 the year of, oh, again, I've just lost something here. Oh, this is embarrassing. Nope. I've just lost a file that I desperately need for today. Where's it gone? I had my little thing here with my prompts for my cog. Oh no. I've lost my... Nope. I've lost my piece of thing on here that has... Okay, quick bit of finding technology again, just bear with me. If I don't have my cheat sheet, I will have a little freak out. Where's my cheat sheet going? It has gone. Join me for Elevensies. Oh, had to happen now, didn't it? Book launches. Where's my book launches? Where's my Cogs and Conspiracies one? Yes, I have it. I have my technology. Okay, so get rid of that one there. Okay, right. Shall I start that again? Welcome to Elevensies and another book launch. And this year I've dubbed 2023 the year of the short story, and that's because I won't have a full book out, so I thought I'd put out some other things, and Cogs and Conspiracies is one of them. And a little secret, I've probably got at least another one of these before the end of the year. Shh, secret projects and all. So I'm glad you could join me today on a weekday on either YouTube, Facebook or Instagram. And if you couldn't make it today and you're watching the replay, hi. So I've got a little thing for people watching the replay too. So, oh, I better make a note of that. I think I forgot to write that on my cheat sheet. Okay, so I thought I'd start with a quick check to see where people are watching from. So I know I've got at least one person there. Now I've got 101 things open, which I don't want open. I don't want that one open, and I don't want that one open. And hopefully I haven't done the wrong one. Okay, so I know I've got at least someone watching there. So, okay. So if you're watching on Instagram, can you just tell me where you're watching from so I can see that it's working? And if you're watching this on YouTube, can you tell me where you're watching from so I can tell that that's working? And if you're watching on the, hang on, what is going on here? I've done something wrong again already. On Facebook, then please tell me where you're watching from. Okay, Heather can see me from Facebook. And Stephanie's there too. Heather, Sally's from Melbourne. I know Stephanie's from Adelaide. And Heather, I don't actually know where you're from. If I did, I forget, and I apologise right now. Let's see who's watching on there. Okay, right. I'm not sure whether. Okay, we've got Gawler. Oh, Gawler's lovely. And Melbourne, so I've got Melbourne, Gawler, Adelaide, and hopefully some of my steampunk friends from overseas might be able to make it. I sort of made this about this time so that there was a chance that they might be able to make it. So we'll just keep plugging on. Okay, so so it is a weekday. And I do apologise for that, but there was a reason, because today is the 17th of May. And the 17th of May actually is the 26th anniversary of when I actually first met my Dearheart. So I thought, I'm going to do it on the 17th because that actually means a lot to me. So, okay, right. Every now and then I'm going to keep checking for replies and stuff. So I thought I'd start this with, well, yeah, why not? I'll have a question right off the bat. So I've got some giveaways today too. So the first question is, do we have anyone here that's new to steampunk, that doesn't know a lot about steampunk or hasn't actually read any steampunk? And I'm just going to go and have a little look-see around here now. Oops. Just, no, don't do that. Just bear with me. Karen the Luddite. Okay, so is anyone going to answer the question? I don't know. So I'm sure that there's going to be someone who hasn't read steampunk before, because it's been a while since I've done a steampunk story. So I thought I'd start with the definition. Well, a definition. So I was going to give away the first ebook to someone who was new to the genre or hasn't read any steampunk. So if someone says that they haven't read any steampunk, then okay, something happened there. Do I have to refresh this or does it just pop up? I don't know. Yeah, it's all this waiting for technology. Oh dear. Okay, so I should be seeing all of the live comments. Right. So if you are new to steampunk, make a note of it and I'll go back and I'll see if I can find that. Right, so for those who are new to steampunk or watching this later in a replay because they found it randomly on YouTube or something and you don't know what steampunk is, well, it's basically a genre of fantasy or alternate history stories, because it mainly deal with books, for me anyway, usually set in the 19th century or an alternate future reminiscent. Oh, sorry, it's been a long day already. Reminiscent of 19th century with a science fiction element that contains steam or cog power technology. The amount of steam and gadgets is variable. So you don't have to have a lot of gadgets. So you can actually have a character-based story with just a few gadgets. Sometimes there's supernatural themes, like that can be incorporated, like vampires and werewolves and various magic. I have this mysterious orb thing in Department of Curiosities, which is sort of a Victoriana sciencey thing that, yeah, may or may not have a scientific basis to it. Sometimes the stories have a punk element. Someone just popped up in the first encounter. Okay, so David says the first encounter was with steampunk with the Difference Engine by William Gibson. Yes, the early 90s. Yes. So yeah, the stories can often have a punk element, often challenging the social norms of the day and of our time as well, like women's position in society, women's rights, LGBTIQ rights, racism. There's a whole heap of stuff that can be in there as well. It's not just books though, because I'm actually a member of a local community, have been a member of the local steampunk community since about 2008-ish. Also, I'm a member of an international steampunk community as well. And it's a creative movement as well. So you get a lot of makers and costumers, mechanical inventions. It has fiction. It's in art. It's in fashion and music. There's a whole music genre which covers music in steampunk is everything basically from sea shanties and swing to punk. It's the content and the way it's presented. Yeah, it's quite fun, some of it. I've got a few favourite steampunk bands. I've even actually written a couple of steampunk songs with the Litmus Steam Band in Queensland. So check them out. And there's also TV and movies, and it has its little ups and downs with that, and of course fandom. Okay, so I like the art meets the science part of it because I do both art and science. There's no real definite definition of steampunk. Some people call it Victorian science fiction. I think Victorian science fiction was the science fiction written in Victorian times, but it is harking back to, and it's a movement on and developing of that sort of genre as well. If you want more information on steampunk, I've got things about books and TV and costuming and a whole heap of stuff, and a few articles on a bit more in depth on what it's about. You can go to my website, karenjcarlisle.com/steampunk. Nice and easy, you can find it there. Right. Still no one new to steampunk, so you've all read steampunk before. Okay, excellent. Sorry, I am losing my voice and allergies. I'm so sorry. Right, so while you're here, after all that, I think I need another cup of tea. So today is the official launch of Cogs and Conspiracies. So I better show you the cover, if this is going to work. There we go. There's the cover. I just realised I don't know whether it's inverted on Instagram or not. So that's the cover there, and at the moment it's available as ebook only. So I've got the blurb. I'm going to read out the blurb because there's no way I can remember this blurb. So I'm just going to check quickly. There's no comments. Right. Oh, if you've got any questions, pop them in the chat wherever you are, and I will try to answer them as well. Right, so the blurb is 5 short tales set in a steampunk and alternate history world with adventures from England to the Antipodes. Here be villains, gadgets, mechanical creatures, secrets and conspiracies, all in time for tea, because tea is a thing. Stories from the world, the stories from the world of the adventures of Viola Stewart and the Department of Curiosities, and it has all new characters. So you're not going to see the standard characters there. So, Cogs and Conspiracies, didn't think about saying that quickly when I did I? Is a collection of steampunk short stories I've written over the years while creating my alternate history steampunk world of my other 2 series. There are stories set in the Adelaide Hills in a mine, the perils of clothes washing, some friendly cats, or not so friendly cats, solving a cold case puzzle, and of course making the perfect cup of tea. So tea is a thing. A lot of steampunks like tea. There's actually the Tea Scouts, which I'm a member of. There's a whole heap of stuff. I'm a auntie. There's a thing in one of the steampunk groups I've got where you can be an auntie or an uncle or a maven or something, and you support people and you love unconditionally and stuff like that. So it's fun. So tea. So I thought rather than asking what sort of tea you drink, because you may not drink, well, you can tell me what sort of tea you like if you do. What's your favourite thing? Your favourite vessel or favourite thing to drink your favourite drink in. So mine is tea, and today I've actually got Royal Albert bone china. I thought I'd go the whole hog today, and it's called Memory Lane, and I just love this one because it's got a bit of purple around there, and I love the shape of this teacup. It's one of my favourite shapes of teacups, and I just love the sound of the tinkle when you put that down, and yeah, I think it tastes better. Okay, green tea when I'm sick. Laugh out. So there's lots of types of green tea, Stephanie. At the moment I have Call Cthulhu, which is a Chinese green tea, and then there's another one called Sense and Sensuality, which is a sencha green tea, which is a bit, I think, spicier for me. And they're both from Novelties, I think. I just love the fact that they've got book names, so I bought them. I got them sent over here from America just to get the tins. I love the tins. So yeah. So yes, so the question to win a copy of Cogs and Conspiracies is what do you like to drink your favourite drink in? So if you're watching, I will monitor, and hopefully my Dearheart in the other room, who's actually trying to work from home today, will have a look and just see if anyone answers that question. Right. We might have to come back and look at questions later. Whichever of my vast collection of weird mugs is clean. Okay, Sally. I do have a whole collection of mugs too. We've got a whole, excuse me, we have a whole cupboard with mugs in it. And then we have a display case and another display case and a cupboard with teacups in it. And actually they're all over the place. There's some in the hall as well. I've probably got at least 50 teacups. We've got them hidden in various places so they'll fit. Yeah, so it depends. Sometimes I'll drink tea out of a mug, but I usually like a teacup because it makes it feel really special. Okay, so that's question one, and you can still answer that. Someone sent me a message. I can't look at that right now because it screws everything up as far as what I can see. So, okay, so I should be getting these live. Yes, good. Okay, so that's question one for giveaway. So I will work that out later. Okay, I've done definition. I've done this. I am terribly sorry. Okay, so right, so I mentioned there's all new characters. So if you've read any of my previous series, you won't find those characters directly in there. So while the story is set in the same alternate steampunk world, alternate history steampunk world, I should say, as my other series, it does have all new main characters, and the main characters are female again, and all but one of the stories is set in Australia, in South Australia actually, so all of them except for one. I prefer writing female characters. They few and far between in some genres. Romance has a lot of them. Fortunately, there are many strong female characters in a lot of steampunk stories. It's probably another reason I like steampunk. And it, as I said before, the punk, it often uses the punk part of the steampunk to comment on their role in society, not only in the past but the present. So that's probably another reason why I like steampunk. Plus, I like the whimsy and the stuff. So yeah, and I like to try to pick what would be real science and what is Victorian science or fantasy science type stuff. So that's just what I do. So we're going to have another question already. There's got a few copies to give away, and I hope it's not to the same person. So people, you need to comment. Okay, so so I thought I'd open this one up to any genre. Steampunk genre, you get a bonus point. So who's your favourite female character in any genre and why? And as I said, if it is a steampunk character, then you get a bit of a bonus point there too. So have a little think about that one there. Do I have to keep refreshing this? This is the question. I think they just pop up. Okay. I have a cup I purchased with money my sister sent for my birthday. It is 2 coffee. Oh, wow. Big one. I've actually got some really big teacups. The problem is in winter they get cold down the bottom by the time you get halfway through, because they're like 2 teacup worth. Some one of them's like 3 teacups worth. So I do that bit of a thing, like if it gets too cold and I can't be bothered making another teacup, I'll microwave it to heat and reheat it up. Don't cringe. But sometimes you can't with some of the nice ones because they won't go into the microwave. So then it's a bit fun. But I've just recently got a couple, I can see just over there, that are about this big. About that big. Okay, yeah, that big. And they can go in the microwave to be reheated, so that's good. Okay, green tea, whichever vast collection. Yep, okay. Making notes as I go. Right. It's always good when you can buy something with money someone's given you. I bought a gorgeous teacup with money. My mum lives like in Queensland and I'm in South Australia, and she sent me some money for my birthday, and so I bought this gorgeous teacup. And every time I drink of it, I think of her. So it's always a nice one when you can either get it as a present or buy it as a present like that. Okay, so a bit more. So I'm trying to tell you a little bit about the stories as well. So it is a short story collection, and they're set. I set them because I've written them at all different times. Okay, before I get there, I'll just. Comments are coming up. Okay, so Stephanie says the first character that came to mind was Vicky Nelson, so I got to go with her. Badass detective who gets thrown into a world of paranormal creatures and holds her own. What book's that from, Stephanie? Because I don't know that one. If you're... Yes, I'm going to make you do some more talking. So, well, yes. So, any other, of course, I'm quite partial to Agatha Christie and Miss Marple because she's a woman of a certain age as well, so that's cool. Tanya Huff's Vicky Nelson series came out in the 90s, I think. So it's by Tanya. I'm going to write that down. Vicky Nelson series by Tanya Huff. I haven't heard of that one, so there you go. Okay, right. Moving forward, because we've got to keep moving forward. I didn't want to take too long today because it's a weekday. So yeah, the stories are set. I put them in the actual ebook in chronological order because I'd written them at all different times. So they're set from the 1840s to 1910. So that's sort of almost Edwardian. I think it is Edwardian. So the first one is called All That Glitters, and it was originally written for a small Canadian steampunk anthology, produced by a group of steampunk authors that I know. And I wanted to add an Aussie flavour to it, because you get a lot of these anthologies and they've got a lot of English-based ones or Wild Wild West American type stuff as well. So I wanted to put some Aussie flavour in there. So I wrote a story that was inspired by two things. During the gold rush here, when the gold started running out in Adelaide, in actual history, then a lot of the men left their wives and went over to Victoria to find money to follow the gold rush, and a lot of them didn't come back. So there was a lot of women left behind to fend for themselves. That was one thing that inspired the story, because it's two women and they definitely are defending themselves. And also I'd done a lot of research on the Lady Alice mine, which was a gold and copper mine here in the Adelaide Hills, just at Humbug Scrub, which isn't actually far from me. And those of you who have actually read Aunt Enid, you'll realise that the Humbug Scrub is actually also in A Fay Tale, which is the second book, for Aunt Enid. And I went to the other end of other stuff that had been supposedly happening up at Humbug Scrub with some of my thing. So that's what that one's based on. The second one, just want to put up a message there. Okay. So apparently, yes, the Instagram is mirrored. Sorry, I don't know how to unmirror it. And I think it's that button there. But if I press that button and it screws up, then yeah, I'm not game to change that. So Incoming is the second story. It's a bit shorter. It's set about 20 years later. So the first one's set about 1840s. The second one's set about 20 years later, again in the Adelaide Hills. And it was also inspired by women who were left behind to fend for themselves when a lot of the men went interstate to follow the gold rush. Right on time. It's a bit of fun, let's face it. I love a good cup of tea, so it's a really short one just based on that. The second last one is The Feline Principle, and it's set in the 1890s London. This is the one that is not set in Adelaide. I thought about rewriting it to set it in South Australia, but the Royal Academy, the Science Academy, is in it and features in it, so it made it very hard to. So I just thought that one will be set in London. The main character is male in that one, but there is a female character in there as well. It's basically the cats. The cats are female because, so, yeah. And the final one, and that was set in the 1890s London, and the final one, Captured, was actually written specifically for this collection, and it was originally inspired by a Furious Fiction prompt. Now, over here, there's a writing Australian Writers Centre in Brisbane, and they do once a month, they do a Friday Furious Fiction, and they give you 4 or 5 prompts which you must have in the story, and you do 500. You've got 50 hours, so basically couple of days, I think Friday, Saturday, Sunday, to write it, and you can win $500. I never got that finished in time, but what it did do is I went, aha, I can actually write a story for this collection based on those prompts. And I did, and it just kept growing longer and longer and longer and longer, and it's like 100 times, well, not 100, it's a lot longer than what they said in the first place. And I actually wove in, so if you've read some other stories, I've woven in some Easter eggs from the Partner Curiosities and from Dr. Jack and Other Tales, because I love reading Easter eggs. I love finding Easter eggs in stories, in TV series, and I love writing Easter eggs because I think if you're going to take the time to read my stuff, and you go, it's an Easter egg, I know this, then you get that little bonus kick. If you haven't read them, you won't get them, but if you go back and read them, maybe you can go back and read them, then you might get the Easter egg later. So I love Easter eggs, so I thought I'd put some Easter eggs in. And not the chocolate kind, the writing kind. Okay, so yep. So that brings me to, time. I don't have a timey-wimey one in this one. but there might be something coming. So I mentioned steampunk. Steampunk doesn't have to be specifically Victorian. It can be set in Regency times. There's a few starting to come out. Edwardian times. There's a whole heap of different things. So, the next question is, get ready. If you haven't answered the question yet, then you've got a good chance of winning a book if you answer this. So the question I have for you is, when would you love to see a steampunk story set in, and why? So I get you at the and whys, don't I? You can actually just answer when if you can't think of why, even if it's I think it would be cool. So I'll give you a few things to do that. And there, check there, and check there. Oh, I'm so sorry. While you're thinking about that one, I don't think I have to refresh the page, do I? Might do that just in case. See what we're up to. Oh, okay, when I refresh the page, I've got to get rid of the sound. Okay. So yes, so the question at the moment is, for anyone who's still watching, is when would you like to see a steampunk story or a story set in other than Victorian? So do you think, I've got this idea, which I want to tell you, but I can't. It's a secret project, a long-term secret project. It probably won't happen for a while, and it's set in a different time. And if I can get it to work, it's so cool. Well, while you're thinking about that one, I did get a question. I actually got a message, a DM message from Instagram from a fellow author, actually, asking when will it be available in print. Well, yeah, so far it's only available in ebook, and I actually hadn't thought about doing it in print because it is a collection of short stories, and it's a short collection of short stories. And I thought, but there's been some recent changes in the publishing world, which means that it might be viable to maybe at least set it up to sell. So I hadn't contemplated it, but I'm thinking about it at the moment. I'm actually researching what's the minimum size, what people are likely to buy. It probably wouldn't be very thick. It probably only be that thick. So I don't want to charge too much for it. So what can I charge for? What will people pay for it? But you have to cover costs. So I'm thinking about it. So it has to be financially feasible. So just what I'll say is watch this space. If you want more of a heads up on this one, you can actually join my newsletter. And you go to my www.karenjcarlisle, and you will see a thing over to the right which says newsletter or contact, I think. I can't remember. Sign up, I think it says. It's been a while. Or my Patreon page. So, yeah. Okay, I think I saw someone. Okay. Heather says, what does Heather say? Hang on, I've got to get the right spot. Heather says futuristic steampunk. It can be on any world or Earth. That's the thing. Yes, exactly. I think Bone Shaker by... I know who it is. Who writes Bone Shaker? Yeah, Sherry Priest. That's right. I'm bad with names. Bone Shaker by Sherry Priest, I think, was set in an apocalyptic world. The second story with the washing day could have been an even apocalyptic world. It's one of those ones where I haven't said exactly when it's set, but yeah, well, I have because I said at the beginning, but yeah. So yes, so you can get this. There's quite a few, and there's a lot of steampunk stuff that's written on other worlds. So they're alternate worlds rather than alternate history. And that, so if you're interested in that sort of stuff, there is a whole list of ones. If you want to message me, Heather, and it'll remind me, because after this I'm going to crash. I'm going to crash so badly. And I can pop up a list. I might even have some of them on my steampunk page, but I haven't specifically said that they're futuristic. So there is a few of them around. Yeah, so that's cool. I have thought about it, and as I said, one of my stories could feasibly be put into the future apocalyptic type thing. There's actually a few movies that are sort of almost that too. Because if you think about it, if you have the apocalypse and then they go back, they're going to probably start back with basic technology, maybe. Depends on which way you go. Okay, right. Okay, now is that all my questions? I think that's all my questions now. So, if anyone's got any questions for me, I will look at all the bits and pieces. Anyone has any questions for me? So I'll just get rid of that there, and I'll get rid of that there. I had it on the computer, my run sheet, and in paper just in case it's stuffed up. So now I'll just put a note here. So any questions at all, ask away if you've thought of an answer to one of those questions I asked you. So the questions were, well, if you're new to steampunk, let me know. The questions were, what is your favourite vessel to drink your favourite tea out of? And the second question was, whoops. What is your favourite female character in any genre and why? And what era would you love to see a steampunk story set in and why? Okay, so I'll just quickly go through. So David says that's a hard one. Vicky Nelson, futuristic. Okay. Just double checking. Right. So it looks like I've got a few answers there. So I might just give a few more minutes in case someone else who is watching wants to checking YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. If anyone else wants to answer those questions. So while I'm waiting to do that, I would like to thank all my readers and everyone who's joined me today. And if you've joined me on replay, thank you for doing that as well. Hopefully you got a bit of information about what's going on. I apologise for the technology stuff. Yes. Thank you to my Patreon supporters. It's Kelly, William, Susie, Mark and Joanne are my top supporters, and all my other Patreon supporters as well. You can support me on Patreon. So you go to patreon.com/Karen J. Carlisle. Really basic, really, just spell Carlisle right and you're there. I want to thank you to everyone who follows me on social media, so Instagram, Facebook and YouTube. Instagram and I'm on TikTok too, so yes, so TikTok, Facebook and Instagram is basically their thing. So www.tiktok or Facebook or Instagram are on the actual apps, and it's just Karen J. Carlisle, nice and simple. YouTube, it's actually youtube.com/Karen-J-Carlisle, because it's just the way it had to be. And you can sign up for my newsletter on my website, which is karenjcarlisle.com. It's pretty basic, really. And you also get a free ebook collection of science fiction and fantasy short stories as well when you sign up for that one. If you're going to Oz Comic Con, which is only like less than 2 weeks away, in Adelaide, I will be there. I know Stephanie will be there too. Hopefully we will be seeing each other. And I will have Cogs and Conspiracies available there as ebook. And that's on the 3rd to 4th of June in Adelaide in town. So that I've actually set up some QR codes so you can actually buy your ebooks, well, my ebooks, directly from me in Australian dollars, and you can get them downloaded. So rather than having to go onto the online stores and pay American dollars. So I've made basically, it's 99 cents US online, and if you buy it directly from me, it's 99 AU, so Australian dollars. Okay, let's just check no one else's first character coming to mind. Or someone else. I love autistic heroine Genevieve Leonard by Estelle. Oh, so Heather, what down? Estelle Ryan. More books to buy. Heroine is Genevieve Leonard. What genre are they? Heather. Give Heather time to type, or I'll have to go back and read the things, all the messages afterwards, I think, to catch up on that. As I said, if you've got any questions, I will be crashing, but I'll be around so I can answer the questions during the day. Yeah. Okay, so drum roll. I need a drum roll to announce the winners. I better put them in here. Hang on so I don't forget. Hang on, just bear with me. I'm trying to do this one myself today. I have got... I'm actually printing, typing these out so I don't forget. So... no one said they were new to steampunk, so does that mean that all of you have read steampunk before? Or is it just that you're not willing to say you haven't read steampunk, or you know a bit about steampunk? So I'm assuming it's one of those. So I'm going to do something with that one later. So question 2 was about drinking. So, well, drinking vessels, more to the point. Where does this go? Some of them have gone missing. Why have some of these gone missing? I'm trying to find... hang on, just bear with me. I'm making it big. Right, there we go. I'm just quickly going through. David was talking about the Difference Engine was the first steampunk type book he read. I'm actually trying to collect a lot of the classics, so a lot of the ones, well, classics that people talk about. So Difference Engine, and you've got KW Jetta, and a whole heap of those. So I'm trying to get a lot of those, which I'm getting a really good size thing. So yes, okay. So drinking vessel. The winner of the first, the question about your favourite drinking vessel was Sally, who said whichever her vast collection of weird mugs is clean. That's a fair way. If you can't make up your mind between which one, that's a good way to go. So that's that first one. The second question was about favourite female character from any genre, and I think I will go with, hang on, just checking my questions here. Yep, I think I'll go with Stephanie on that one. I would love to be brave enough to write a futuristic, where's it gone? Hang on. Character. Yes, Vicky Nelson. I do love a good detective story, and with both paranormal thrown in. So I think I might have to go and try to check those ones out and find those. And Heather, oh, Okay. Well, I've already announced Stephanie for that one. Um, murders, intrigue, themes, and how 14 or 15 in the series. Well, I've just finished a series of cozy mysteries that had 17 in them, and so I'm gonna have to go and check that one. So art, history, theft, murders. Okay. Oh, all these extra books I want to read. Okay, so so Stephanie wins the one for the female character, and question 4 was the era, and I've probably given away who I think's going to win that one because yeah, it was Heather because she said the bit about the like uh, uh, futuristic history. There we go, futuristic history on Earth. I would love to be game enough to do that. I think I tend to slide back because I like fiddling with history. I go, oh, but what if this happened? And oh, what if this happened? And what if this happened? And I just feel a bit more comfortable there. So I might have to do something out of my comfort zone, maybe. But yes, I love that one. So we got the winners are Sally, Stephanie, and Heather. That's right, isn't it? Because people didn't ask the newbie question. So what I'll do is I've got something else up my sleeve. So yep. So what I'll do is, if you happen to watch this in replay over the next week, so that would bring us up to I'll give you the weekend. So to the 24th of what are we in now, May? So if you happen to watch that over the next week in replay, and so the two questions I'm going to have, well, one, if you are new to reading steampunk or don't know a lot about steampunk or just steampunk curious, if you can pop a little note in about that and say I'm new to steampunk and why you think you might be interested. So I'll pick someone who answers that question in the next week on the replays, and I actually have one at the end which I'm now trying to find specifically for people who are watching replay. So yesterday I did a little test live on my author page on Facebook, and I had a code word in there. If you happen to have seen that or can find that, and you also comment with the code word, then one of the people who do that will win a copy too. So I've given away 3 copies today, and there's 2 copies going for people who watch the replay. So you have till the 24th of May my time, so it's Adelaide time, which I think is the 23rd in America, and it's actually the 16th there today, so you still get a week. So if you enter those 2 questions, so if you're new to steampunk, what do you think might interest you about it, and what has drawn you here today to be steampunk curious? And now I've lost that question again. And if you happen to have seen the test live, which is really embarrassing, by the way, on my author Facebook page yesterday, and you got that code word, then if you mention that one, pick someone from there too. So there's 2 copies to give away over the next week, because not everyone can actually be here because it was a weekday, and sorry about that. Okay, so I will be saying goodbye to everyone on Instagram, because I've got something else for everything. I just don't know how to do this next, so I'm going to just show the book trailer, but I don't know how to show it on Instagram, so I'm going to have to say see you later for Instagram, and I'm actually not sure. Well, can I show it on Facebook? I'm not sure. Anyway, so thank you everyone for joining me on Instagram, and that counts for that replay. If you watch the replay, I think they do replays on this, then message me in the next week before the 24th Australian time, Adelaide time, and that'll be midnight. 11:59 p.m. on the 24th. That's next, what are we now, Wednesday, next Wednesday in Adelaide time, and those 2 questions. So goodbye, and thank you everyone for listening on, and I don't know how to turn this off. How do I stop the live on Instagram? How do I stop the live on Instagram? Okay, how do I stop the live on Instagram? Do I just do that? Yes. So goodbye, everyone. Okay, right. So Instagram's gone. Now I'm not sure exactly. Okay, so I'm going to share the. There we go. Share. Okay, so at least those on YouTube will be able to see. There's no sound. Why is there no sound? Okay, let's start this again. Why is there no sound? Ah, there we go. Let's start again. Okay, see if this is working. Wait for it. Okay, how do I stop the share? Okay, so for those people that stay behind in the theatre to the end like me, there was a little at the end there for you. Okay, so hopefully I haven't been too disjointed this morning. I am so sorry. I think I wrangled the technology pretty well since I did most of it myself. My Dearheart helped me set up, so thank you. And he did occasional little yell from the background there to let me know a few things. Congratulations to Sally, Stephanie, and Heather. You will be getting a copy, ebook copy of the book of the collection. I will try to message you on Facebook because that's where you were. But message me as well so I can confirm, because sometimes I can't always message people direct from my author thing. And I will give you the instructions on how to download your copy, ebook copy, and that will be, you can pick either ebook, EPUB, Mobi, or PDF for that. So thank you again for joining me. And I'll just check I haven't missed anything. Yeah. So thank you very much for joining me, and I hope I haven't embarrassed myself too much with the technology stuff. And just keep watching. I'll be having some more things happening. And if you do come to Oz Comic Con, then please come stop by and say hello. Okay. Thank you. Bye. And now I've got to work out how to stop this. So